Hi, Tim. Can you, this is Peggy. Can you hear us? Hi, Tim. Can you hear? Can you hear us? I don't know if this is connected. No. Let me get over here. Okay. Oh, let me unmute you. We have to manually unmute.
I can hear you now. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me turn up the sound.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. We can hear you too. We're having video trouble, so let's see. Can you see us now? Oh, no.
That's a duck pin. That's
Okay.
not gonna be him.
I was in a room once where it worked like that. Okay, Beth, can you help us with video when you get a chance?
You're asking someone the wrong
You have to open up the camera.
Where is it? Oh, okay.
Now we see you.
There it is.
Help.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
Camera.
I'm good,
I think
good.
we're on
Good.
record.
New semester. Oh, I know.
Hello, everyone.
We'll start in just a little bit. We're gonna continue to kind of get some things settled in the room and then we'll get going.
Don't worry, he'll listen. No, she has a key to open that. So let me get that. So what did you do this summer?
Hey, everyone online, we're just, like I said, we're getting a few things settled in the classroom and then we will start here in a few minutes. While you're online, if those of you who are already logged in, if you want to drop your name, well, your name's there, what department you're with and what you're looking forward to this semester in the chat, please, when you have a sec. So folks online, are you seeing the PowerPoint? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Diane.
You want to move up the slides a few times, Sarah, to make sure, because sometimes they stick. Can they see the slides moving?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes they get sticky. And so.
Yeah.
Like the fruit.
Hey,
How's it going?
good. How are you? So so AI is on the table. Right.
Sure, yeah.
I'm teaching 2 online courses for the first time.
Yeah.
And this is a discussion board posts and I have like personalized things. And I'm like, but it's
If you're joining online, we'll start in about 2 minutes, and I'm going to throw in our new blog post that Sarah Shelton took the lead on, and we co-wrote from CRTLE on the first
Well,
4 weeks. So take a look at that while you're waiting, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Yeah, and you don't have to be on camera. This session is being recorded.
So far is moving to, they're doing discussion, it's discussion board.
but there's
And you've got a prompt form, and you feel like they're putting that into AI.
Yeah. Well, both, yes,
Mhm.
definitely I can tell that last semester I really noticed.
That they were just cutting and pasting.
Yes.
Chat or Copilot.
I think I told you, my students actually thought
Left
to
the prompt.
yeah, take out the prompt. I was like, I made some changes. Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have time at the end to discuss all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Whatever y'all want to discuss.
I know.
And we can,
So our camera's up here. So hi, everyone. I'm Peggy Symingson. If you're seeing the side of my face, our cameras are at kind of different angles. We have 2 people in the classroom, Donna from nursing and Laura from English. And I'm joined by my colleagues, Dr. Sarah Shelton from English, Dr. Beth Fleener from CRTLE, and myself from CRTLE. So we're so glad you're here. And we love this topic. It's helpful for the whole semester. It's not just the beginning. And we want to hear your voices too. So please type in the chat. We're monitoring that. If you're in the classroom, just wave at us and share ideas and connections. And we hope you learn something practical. So our goal is to start the semester strong. We have 5 or 6 big ideas that we're going to share. And we want to hear what's worked for you, what you've tried, what are your challenges, and so on. So again, here's our team. You can email us. Hey, welcome.
Hey, no worries. Sign yourself in. grab some
Social
food.
work group. So we've got lunch in the back.
We got one. Don't worry about it. We just started. I understand parking probably was.
Yeah, but here we are. So if you want to contact us, we can do one-on-one consulting. And if you just have questions, we want you to engage with our digital content. Our goal this year is to push out a lot of digital content. If you didn't know, we have a podcast. It's called Pedagogy Next. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we have about 6 podcasts so far. And if you ever want to be on the podcast, we would love to host you. We have a recording studio here in Trinity. That's run through Center for Distance Ed. And we again hope to push out content. I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. She's going to give us just a synopsis of our 6 big ideas. And then Beth, Sarah, and I will rotate through the ideas, and we'll pause and have time for dialogue. So if you're online, raise your hand too if you want to talk. I'll monitor, but we'll have stopping points for conversation.
So like Peggy said, we're going to go over kind of 6 big ideas first, and then we'll have some time to talk and kind of hear from y'all and see what's going on. So we're going to cover communication. A lot of this is aimed at, the first day of class or the first weeks of class. But again, all of this, holds true for the whole semester. So we're looking at communication, how you might, Peggy's going to go over how you might have a plan and you might use tools like bookings. to interact with students. Beth's going to go over community with us in the sense of building a sense of belonging in week 1, and working on things like, I know we all not too excited about icebreakers when we're the ones that have to break the ice. But a lot of that community building, if you can make it happen in the first week or so, or the first class, is really important for setting the tone for the rest of the semester. I'm going to go over low stakes assignments. I think for some of y'all that were in here earlier, Peggy mentioned we have a new blog post up, and it's going to come out through the provost, because they're very, I don't know about you, but when you get the email and it's like, it's time for the 4-week progress report, and you're like, okay, well, what am I going to put in, what grades am I going to put in? And like, we haven't done anything yet. We talk a lot about in that section about the idea that we should be doing maybe some low stakes things to begin with, even if they're completion grades, participation grades, whatever. We're also getting data about where our students are at, where they're headed, and how we can be flexible and maybe making changes in our courses to support them once we find out who they are as a unique set of students. And then we'll go over some ideas about like productive struggling and making our environment safe for students to feel like they can dive into the content, because a lot of them come to us very unsure or feeling like there might be behind in the area, or they don't know much about it, or imposter syndrome. So just helping them realize that that's why they're here, is to actually learn, not to come in and like wow us with their knowledge, although we do appreciate that, of course. And then we'll talk about motivating. So just kind of giving students an idea of the full semester without overwhelming them. And then we do have one thing we want to share with y'all as far as using AI in your own class, not necessarily as an assignment, but already worked into Canvas, is Conmigo, which if you haven't heard about it yet, is a really good tool to do a lot of this stuff. Because I know when we come at y'all, or the provost asks us to, have some low stakes assignments at the beginning that we can grade and things like that, we also think, well, I don't really have time already on top of all the other things to kind of just come up with some new stuff. But a lot of what Conmigo does is help you do that quickly and work it into Canvas. So we want to show that to you at the end of this, these 6 ideas, and maybe give you a little time to look at it, play with it. We'll be flexible. We can do that, or we can, kind of open up the conversation sooner and talk about what y'all are experiencing, what you want help with. Before we started, Laura asked me if we were going to talk about AI, because she's like the rest of us, worrying about things like discussion boards and students using AI to do that work. So we can definitely get into that and talk through and maybe brainstorm some ideas. So that's kind of where we're headed today, what we're going to be doing. So if you're online, if at any point you have a question or you want to jump in, please just raise your hand and let us know. And then of course, if you're in the room, same thing, just let us know what's going on. Did we went over the CRTLE team? We did. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to talk, I'm going to turn it back over to Peggy to kind of talk about the whole underlying idea of this, and then get into communication.
Yeah, so we're thinking about students, but actually this applies to ourselves. Is anybody feeling overwhelmed already? We haven't started yet. Yeah, so here we go. We've got our built-in mic. So this idea of, and I hate being behind her because you can't see me. You can see me online. This idea of cognitive load is big. Who's heard of it? Who's heard of cognitive load? It's this idea that when we have too much coming at us, it can help if we can streamline things and make them more predictable. So one way to do that, and here you'll see in the image, is a visual aid that really helps students clear through the clutter. And it's not that your class is clutter, but it helps to just kind of know where you're going. And so I guess you could call this like a visual syllabus. And I believe that one of our 6 syllabus templates is a visual syllabus. Has anyone seen those? So one is a visual syllabus, and this is different. This is a departure from our usual one-size-fits-all syllabus. So brand new, we have 6 templates to choose from, and it's a little overwhelming. It's like, which one do I? And so the visual aid helps students because they can see at a glance the information. They don't need to read a lot. Yes.
Peggy, where do we find that?
Let's see. I think it was sent out in a Faculty Affairs News, but if you go to the Provost website, Division of Faculty Success, it's going to be there.
Okay.
And in our follow-up email, we'll send it. we'll just say in case you missed it kind of thing. Yeah, because we get a lot of information coming at us, and so do students. So actually, I think this principle applies to us too. And at the end of this session, we'll suggest ways to reduce our own cognitive load by using this Conmigo tool, which we've grown to love or like. So anyway, anything you can do to help students see the big picture, the big ideas, you know, the main ideas, that's really what's important. And so that's kind of our guiding principle here, is helping students not feel overwhelmed. When you need to turn in midterm grades, you don't want to feel overwhelmed. And so as much as you can do on the front end, that helps you and them. Okay, so one big idea is communication. I know we all do this, but I've always taught mainly online. And so I have to be more intentional about communication. And so I usually email my students once a week. Mondays are good. Sundays, if you work on the weekend, just depends on how you are as an instructor. So these are just some ideas I've done, and then we'd love to hear your ideas. So these are actual scheduled communications with students. So you can create a video. Who's done that? Make a video. Yeah, and you all teach online quite a bit, so that's especially useful. And I know you've made tons of videos.
You can preset your communication.
Yes.
So that
Good
you're,
point.
yeah.
So I'll share that. So everyone knows, I think, or may not know, that you can pre-schedule your announcements.
Mhm.
Does anyone do that?
You don't have to think about it.
You don't have to think
Release your
about
cognitive load.
it. So true. And then Sarah and Beth, let me know if anyone's in the chat with comments, and I'll pull this up. Okay, Diana says these are great. I build community in class and online and through introductions. What is your superpower? Oh, that's great. So yes, so next would be building on Diana's idea, create an introduction overview video and or email about the course. These are called course trailers. You can make them fun and entertaining or just basic. So Google course trailer and you can find some. Some are creative. And then another thing you can do is create an advanced organizer that provides an overview of the course. And so it's kind of like the one we just shared. This would be a visual advanced organizer. An advanced organizer is like a short cliff notes about your class. And so it's kind of like, if you don't read every detail, here's what you really need to know. And that's that cognitive load reduction. It's an old school technique, but it's proven to enhance comprehension. I think that's it. So, finally, I love automation. And so make automation work for you. Does anybody use Microsoft Bookings? Microsoft Bookings. It's an automatic tool. You can get it set up, and the link is in the slides. These were emailed to you. And so it's a ServiceNow ticket. So you create a ticket, and they will add this feature to your workflow. And so all you do is you get a link. Oh, Sarah put it in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, that's for the syllabus.
Oh, okay, that's for the syllabus. So we'll get you the ticket. Yeah. So it takes about an hour for them to walk you through how to do it. But once it's set up, you're good for years. And so students can use it's like Calendly, I think is another one. You've probably done this for different things when you make an appointment with someone. The students can make an appointment with you either to get to know you, if you have a small class, or, you know, I need help kind of thing, one-on-one. And it will automatically populate into Teams on your calendar. When you're free, it knows it can look up your calendar, and it can find a time that's of mutual, that will work for you and the student. And I use this for my advising appointment. And I do it at the beginning of the semester for students, just one-on-one, get to know you. It can be a 5-minute meeting. Most of my students join on their mobile device, and a lot of them are in their car. They're not driving. They're usually in a parking lot. So they make that appointment maybe before they're doing something else or after, and it works. And so you can encourage your students to download the Teams mobile app and to use the bookings tool, and that's flexibility. I'm a huge fan of flexibility. So what do you think of that idea? Using bookings. Once you get it set, it's a little work to get it set up, but it's worth it, is what I've heard from everybody. Do you want to add?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that saves so much time with students emailing, like trying to email students and set up times to meet.
No back and forth.
That's like,
forth. Yeah, just
No back and forth.
Yeah.
Although you can manually remind them about it. That helps.
Diana in the chat said that she has access, but isn't able to get students access, so she's
Yeah.
struggling with that.
Okay, Diana, I would contact the help desk. We have a help desk in Trinity. If any faculty are struggling or need help,
Right in.
just walk right in. It's right out here in the lobby. It's brand new. It's just for faculty or anyone, I guess, but it's geared for faculty. So in case you didn't know, we'll make a little plug for the help desk. It's actually called the service desk.
Technology bar.
Service desk, yeah, so check that out too. So Diana, I would contact the help desk.
Yeah.
Or make a trip over here and see us too while you're here. Just pop in. So anyway, bookings will help you. And if your students know about it, most of them are, a lot of us in this day and age use that. So let's just real quick recap. So just be intentional, schedule communications. Think about using bookings. I'm a fan. Everyone I know that uses it is a fan. So I think I'm going to turn it over to
Okay.
Beth.
All right. Hi, everyone. I feel weird because I have to be online seeing your faces, but then I've got these people in the room, so I'm kind of like locked behind it. All right. So we're going to talk about community and how to build that sense of community. This is actually a lot of my research and working in this space. Obviously, we know about icebreakers and doing that, and that's just really difficult to do. Some people are like, I don't want to do that, but everyone's going to come on the first day awkward. Okay, we just onboarded all this new faculty this week, and everybody didn't know anybody, and so everyone's a little like, I don't know anybody, and a little awkwardness. So you got to, as the professor or the class leader, you have to be intentional to help them form community. Okay, and so some of the things is those icebreaker activities that you work on and things. You can do the same thing for online. You have the same thing. You can do face-to-face or online. You have to accept your expectations, your engagement, participation. So if you're going to do online, you're expecting maybe to take your dot off. I need to see you active. You need to set the expectations on the first day. Classroom community, the norms, behaviors, how we're going to interact. You're going to model how to do that. You don't want people to interrupt with you, and things like that. You got to model all of that. Share a little bit about your background and who you are. I mean, you're not going to leave too much TMI on the floor, but hey, I'm an alumni, I'm first gen, or Mary or Cowboys or whatever it is. It's something that they can connect to. I know Peggy did a lot with her dog. Yeah, you bring pets. Everyone loves pets, so bring in your pets, bring in your favorite foods, thing like that. I teach in the College of Ed, where I used to be a former public education teacher, and so I had the students submit questions of what they always wanted to know. And I would start the class every day, for the whole semester, answering one of those questions. Some of them were as simple as, how do you get to go to the restroom during the day and you're a teacher and you have all these kids in front of you? Just little things so they don't just, just being real with that. You can just turn and talk type of activities. You want them to engage. And so one of the activities that we did here actually with our new faculty is something called the common activity. I have a copy here for the in-person, but really everyone comes in and it helps them break the ice a little bit. So the common activity is an activity that you put together in groups of like 3 or 6 people, and they have to find things in common. So they have to start talking. I just have the one. Yeah. They have to find things, and it can't be, well, we both have, brown hair or glasses. I'm talking about things. Oh, we're the fourth, we're first borns, or we have 2 brothers, or we are not Texas natives, or you eventually find that common thing, and then you write it down. And by doing that, they get comfortable with each other because, again, they don't know each other. It encourages people to talk and participate with each other, build network and community. So the next time these students come back to the class, they know this person because we both, love whatever coffee, or we both do this. And so they have they form a common bond with each other, and they have developed those relationships and community and connection. And it's a safe way because then everybody participates. So you always get the one person who loves to talk, like right now I'm just talking, but you have other people who have to share. So we're going to do something real quick before I move to the next slide. So what is one common thing that we all can find together? People online, you can do this online. So this is not something that's limited to in person, and it's very low stakes. All right. Anybody have children? Okay. 3 people in the room. I have 2 daughters. Anybody have 2 daughters? I have 2 daughters. Okay. I have my first grandson arriving sometime next week. So I'm super excited about that. Anybody can fall in that space. Pets? Anybody have pets? Anybody online? Oh, look at this room just went hands up. Pets, pets, pets. Okay. So by building that activity, you kind of, you form these bonds and these friendships in this community. Does that make sense? And you can do this in large classrooms and small classrooms. It's just a way for the people to get to know each other and their peers. Okay. We're not going to do the activity because we're going to do that. So before I move on, any other questions or about this? There are tons of icebreakers. You guys just Google it and you can get so much. I think Amigo actually might have something where you could have an icebreaker activity. So we can show you when you go to Amigo, there's how do I break the ice or how do I do something, and they can give you ideas and things in that nature. So, any other questions? Have you anybody online? I'm sorry. Anybody online? Anybody online? The camera's right here.
But Pete said that he tells his students that he's nervous the first day too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That relatability.
That's true.
What's that? Pete online said that he shares that he's nervous on the first day
yeah.
too. Like he's very transparent about it.
Yeah. Some transparency on that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just become authentic to them. I tell them all the time, I talk faster than my mouth can keep up. And so I will trip over my words. And so that's just the way it is. So it's just the way it is. And so that's what happens. So
Anybody in here, we're gonna use this
Because of the people online. Hello.
anybody else want to share maybe some ice-breaking activities?
How do you do ice breaking and social work?
My favorite icebreaker is what's the last show you binged or that you're in love with right now? And that always gets folks talking. Yeah.
COVID, I was all about that.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, you want to have that?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
But yeah, I shared about my dog all the time. He was the class mascot.
I do things a little differently in that usually we don't meet on the first day. I have them go online into Canvas, learn it, look at the syllabus. They do several digital activities that way. And then the second day of class is our first day. And so I usually do something very similar to what Beth does, but I do it with Play-Doh, but I have a small class. So I don't know that that would work with a larger class, but it still has to do with them trying to find commonality and building things and just kind of having fun and being low stakes and kind of giving them a feel for who I am as a professor and that they can maybe, do the productive struggling a little bit more, because if we started the first day with Play-Doh, I think that gives them a sense for where we're headed. But also, let's see, what else do we do? One of the things, when you said the last class or the last show they've binged, when I used to, on the day we meet the first time, I always ask everyone in the room to introduce themselves. I know we hate doing that, but it's important. So I like to know, I usually have a lot of non-majors. I'm an English professor and I'm teaching first year writing, so they're all non-majors. So I need to know like what their major is, why why they took this particular section and all these kinds of things. And I used to ask them the dreaded question, well, what do you like to read or watch? And they even when I moved it to other texts, they didn't like that. So the one I have found that has been really, really productive lately has been, okay, if you had someone's undivided attention for 10 minutes, what would you talk to them? Like they're not going to talk about, you're just going to talk at them. Like, what would you talk about? And I get all sorts of things. Like it's, the big surprise commonality in one class last semester was like Love Island or something. I'd never heard of this show, but yes. Okay, well, and they well-versed me. And so when people start talking, and then they usually won't go into the thing, but I'll follow up with, well, oh yeah, I love that too. Like, what do you, I'll kind of start a little very micro conversation. But a lot of times I'll be like, I have no idea what that is. Can you please tell me about it? And then other people in the room are like, yeah, Love Island's the best. So it starts to kind of break up the sort of like monotony and like silence of one at a time, introing. It's been working very well, that question. So I put that out there.
So Sarah brought up what I do. I teach the math methods, which is a math class. And so I actually have little Legos that I start my class with. And I give them this little kit of Legos without the instruction, and they have to work together to put this together. They don't know what it is. Eventually they figure out it's the Batmobile. They're making the Batmobile. But they work together and they have to learn to collaborate and talk to each other. And then we tie it into the learning process of, you know, everyone's going to be putting their Batmobile together a little different. They still have the same outcome. Everyone learns they're going to have a Batmobile, but they all look a little different. Everyone's learning journey is a little bit different. And I mean, who doesn't like Legos? And then who doesn't like Legos? And so anyway, so there's that. Before time, let's move on to number 3, low stakes.
Oh, let me,
When you have this mic, then you can.
did you, what were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say another thing I do is the first day I get their favorite song they like to sing to or their favorite song. I make the list and then when we're on break,
Yep.
I play their song.
Yes. Yes.
And so every class,
Throughout the
I
semester.
play throughout the semester, I can play a different song.
Yeah.
And we dance.
Well, it helps with the silence while they're working. For sure.
Okay, low stakes.
All right. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you know, we do essentially what UTA, you know, believes in, and we'll see all this in this article right here. I'll go to it in just a second. Is that, you know, giving students feedback early and letting them know, well, first of all, getting data from them in the sense that you know where they're at, whether it's in your particular content area or just in general, is important to know, you know, what do you need to maybe go back and review for your whole class, things like that. But the earlier you can give students feedback, the more plugged in they're going to feel, the more engaged, the more maybe hopeful that they might succeed and things like that. Because they feel like you know, you care enough to sort of give on a small low stakes assignment, give them some feedback quickly early on, and you start to see what their competence is. They feel more competent, things like that. So we're essentially, you know, needing to somehow for that early reporting do something that we can give grades for. When we say grades, you know, sorry, one spot. When we say grades, I think it's important not to feel like it has to be major grades or even letter grades, because Canvas has wonderful functions that we can use, such as complete, incomplete, just to track that they even did it. Because a lot of these low stakes assignments should actually be more just about the process and like the fact that they even productively struggled or that they, you know, engaged with the activity or something like that. So there really isn't a whole lot of, you know, need to give it an A, B, or C or something like that. But if, you know, you do want points, I'll go ahead and link to the actual, hold on 1 second. Let me share this screen real quick. So that those online can see it. So this is the actual blog piece that will come out. I'm not going to go over all this. Y'all can read it on your own, but it just compiles a lot of the things I just said, along with some ideas down at the bottom for low stakes assignments that, you know, whether it's that early syllabus scavenger hunt. Does anyone do something like that? Or yeah. Whether it's exit cards. I tried to also come up with some, you know, more multimodal options because there is the AI element. A lot of us have been doing low stakes assignments at the beginning, but there's something like a reflection or a discussion board post or whatever. And we know that, you know, some students may default to AI in that situation. So I've been moving a lot of my lower stakes assignments early on into class. So they are class activities. It's something that is complete or incomplete. It's, you know, they give me some kind of artifact that has their name on it that I can keep a hold of, even if I don't go into it a whole lot and not grade it very harshly or something like that. But some of these are taking advantage, say, of the record function in Canvas and having students just go in for an assignment and record their either verbal processing about a concept that they've been taught in class that day, or their confusion, or doing a reflection or something like that, doing some infographics, using photo, all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, we have a hand raised.
Yes, question. Let me go back.
Can't see
Who was it?
Rodriguez. Last name Rodriguez.
Cynthia. What, here, hold on. Can I unmute her?
Yeah.
Hold on, Cynthia, I'm trying to unmute you.
I messed it up. Or can you unmute yourself and just speak up?
I think we have to.
No, I think she has. Cynthia, can you drop your question in the chat? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. We're having technical difficulty. Oh, that was an error. Never mind. She's good. Okay. Sorry, Cynthia. Okay. So let me go back. I'm going to unshare that. So that link is on the slide, and we'll drop a copy of all the slides into the chat here in just a second. I'll do that for us when I'm on the next break here from being the one to talk. If you're interested, I also just put in a link to a couple of things that I do that are low stakes assignments. This one, let me share real quick with the group. Sorry about all the.
Do you think low stakes assignments are critical for graduate level classes?
For a couple of reasons, because they're not necessarily just about getting them into the content or getting that feedback, which are both important, but also starting to build a community. And so if they're having to work through maybe a problem together in class or do something small, maybe on their own or whatever, they're starting to build that like, oh, we're in it together kind of sense. So it has a lot to do with that too, the idea of building community early on.
And also a lot of our grad students, that's what I do a lot with grad students, are first gen. So they've never even stepped foot in grad school. No one has packed that for them. And so those low stakes, especially in new or introductory type of course, of what to expect.
That's a good point.
So they're not, so, I mean, if they're already fearful walking into a space they've never been, and then I have to, the GPA or whatever it is, and having some low stakes on how to just analyze 2 articles or, just something, so they build their confidence in, okay, I can do grad school.
Yeah.
Instead of, the retention piece.
Yeah,
The retention
that's a good
piece.
point.
So, or the non-traditional grad student, that hasn't been to school in 30 years and they're like, I don't know,
That was me.
That's what I'm saying. So, that was low stakes, especially if you're teaching a new or the first class into a grad school or you're into it, like if you're doing research methods. Some of them are like, I don't know. I mean, I'm math, I like quantitative, but qualitative stuff, is like, oh, what is this? And so just some low stakes, introducing some stuff before you give me that hard assignment for this, confident. Yes, and then you retain them.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, and I would say too that, giving them if you think of low stakes throughout the semester, moving more towards a process model instead of a product model, because giving them credit for doing the struggling and the drafting, and because I'll put this in terms of writing because I'm a writing teacher, but like not just focusing on that major grade of the final written paper or whatever, but giving them completion or points or whatever as they go for doing certain parts of the process, whatever it is for your content area, can build that confidence up. And my theory is that that's a lot of why we're defaulting to AI anyways, is that because we still focus a lot on the product and the major grades, that when it comes time to do that, and they haven't quite had the scaffolding, or not even necessarily the content scaffolding, but the building of the confidence through the smaller low stakes parts of the process. And when I say low stakes, I mean, you're pointing out and being transparent that they should be struggling in those activities. Like they should be not know what's going on. They should be trying to problem solve and work through it and making a mess and failing, and their draft should be ugly and all these kinds of things. You're still giving them credit for that part. Then I think that goes a long way to build up that confidence throughout the process, so that they maybe are not only have they been building content as they go in lower stakes kinds of process activities, but they may not completely default to AI at the end because they feel like, okay, I'm supposed to struggle with this. That's the whole point. Like my brain is supposed to work. So that's kind of one thing I've been pondering. But if you guys want to look at these, you can. We'll also draw the links. I'll drop the links to these in the chat, but they'll be in the PowerPoint. but they're just very specific ways of doing some low stakes assignments. One thing I will, I'm going to share, oh, no, do not do that. I'm so sorry. I do want to share the other one instead of the one I shared, because when we're talking about low stakes, especially early in the semester, one thing you want to maybe think about is bridging a little bit. So this particular, oh, that's the wrong one. Darn it. All the tabs. Sorry, everyone online. I'm just sharing and sharing and sharing. All right, here it is. Okay. This one is when I do, when I'm teaching 1302, we have a English 1301, 1302 sequence. So, but a lot of our students place out of 1301, or there's a big gap between 1301 and 1302 because they took 1301 as a freshman, but they wait until their senior year to take 1302 or whatever. So I have an early in the semester, very low stakes, more fun and kind of, you know, icebreaker-ish a little bit too, where we're reviewing old content from 1301 so that we can use those terms going forward in 1302, add to it. But I also, what they turn in gives me a chance to assess where they are, because they all come in with varying degrees of remembering what they learned in 1301 or in dual credit or whatever. So having something that is more of an in-class assignment, a little bit more on the maybe fun, pair up, group playful side, but it's still using the terms, or it's using the framework or the theory or the problem set or whatever, is a good idea, because that gives you a window into where your students are and if you need to adjust and bring a little bit more of that old content in real quickly to get everybody kind of on the same page. So I left those there for y'all because it also at the bottom has an idea, has ideas for how you would make this for, you know, any discipline, not just 1302 or English. So those are some ideas. What does anybody want to share low stakes assignments they do while we're here? Yes.
Yes, so I teach a graduate course and it's,
Oh yeah, let's get you a mic. Hold on one second.
so the online people can hear. Yes, so it's done. I teach a graduate course and it's really based on them creating a project.
It's not on. Sorry.
Um,
Yeah.
Switch. Where is that? Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, you're good.
Okay, sorry about that. We're set now. So I teach a graduate course and it's really based, the whole course is where they develop a project, you know, like on paper. So for low stakes assignment, as well as combining scaffolding, I do a discussion boards where they will, you know, present what they plan to do and their peers evaluate them. And I find over the years that is really efficient. They really get involved in each other's project because the course is completely asynchronous online. So I figured that's a good thing. I wanted to mention that. I also teach the very first graduate course that they take in nursing, and that can be a challenge. So for low stakes assignments, because it's asynchronous, there's no classroom activity really. What I do is I do like a syllabus quiz, an APA quiz, and a plagiarism quiz. So I kind of kill two birds with one stone to emphasize what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody else wanna?
I do a lot of assignments that they do the same assignment several times throughout the semester with like a slightly different prompt or a different, for us, like a different diagnosis or a different therapeutic modality, and tell them up front that the first one, I will give a lot of critical feedback, but basically as long as you do it, you'll get all the points. And then I think that helps them then continue, and then they have the opportunity to continue to build and do better on the assignment. Again, process over product, that they learn how to do it versus just worrying about what the output it as the end.
And it helps them become okay to grapple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all grounded in growth mindset and the idea of productive bafflement, which I talk about my students a lot with. Beth talks about productive struggle with hers. Yes, absolutely. Gives them room and space to do that.
I think that's our next point.
Yes, it is. So why don't we,
Just segue right to there. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so I am going to talk about safety, psychological safety and learning and productive struggling. That, I'm sorry, I was on the outside of the room. I'm working my way back over here. That is actually some of my research area because of math. We do productive struggling a lot. I'm actually doing some research on how cognitive development and AI shortcuts this and things like that. So first of all, you want to set up a place where they can foster psychological safe learning. I have a book over here. And this is from my research because I taught math and a lot of students have this math anxiety type of thing. And so how do they feel safe enough to go through a subject matter that's a little nervous and things like that? So this is actually one of my books that I have. That's not my book, but it's I reference this book. Those people right there, I can drop it in there. But it's a safe space. You want them to learn and you want them to make mistakes. That's the whole point of learning. And if you don't give them the space to make mistakes, then they're going to shortcut it and then they're going to produce an AI work. And they're not going to learn. They're going to shortcut their critical thinking and all that stuff. So you want them to continue struggling. So you need activities or tasks for them to struggle. Like, for example, my Lego activity, they were struggling making Legos without the instructions. And so, but they felt safe enough to do that. Promote skills to emphasize learning strategies and success. Okay, we talked about that too. It's just like we want them, it's not the product, it's the process. We want them to process through that. Resources that, can help learning. I mean, because sometimes if you're teaching a concept, math, multiple step concepts that are very deep and difficult to go through, break it down into smaller pieces, Okay, let's focus on this, a little easier to digest. Include time for productive struggling. You cannot tell you how many times I work with faculty and they don't give the space and the time for them to struggle through and then reflect on what they learned. That is a key important. You're like, but they could, but they need the time to struggle because that struggle is where that aha moment comes in and then it sits in their simulation. They simulate it in their brain and all their schema of learning and everything like that. And then they retain it. Because AI doesn't allow you to retain it. They just get they submit it. But they struggle through that. That's how they retain that knowledge. Key strategies to learners to know how to do things successful. I mean, so if you're gonna teach the course, you want to highlight that, like the map that we showed earlier. These little landmarks along the way. You need to key points here. These are key points there. As you keep going through the course, these are key things, strategies to help you. If you're doing a paper, maybe you need some reminders. Okay, it's due on week 15. You don't tell them on week 14, little reminders. Okay, this is week 3. You should be done the draft part. You should be giving them reminders how to be successful. And then they can submit those draft points, little benchmarks along the way. And then even the tips, how to do well in this class. All right, how to teach that, how do you, you're teaching the class and giving them some pointers on how to do well. Maybe some books or reading, or you should be doing this cup or this how much and things like that. And that's the safety and the productive struggling piece. One thing that I did, and I made note of this, is when you guys were talking earlier just moments ago about, was it Treasure Island? Love Island? Love Island? I don't know anything about that either. But as a instructor, if you're having the community and you don't know anything about that, this book has some great things. It's like, well, tell me more. Tell me more about that. And they're going to be excited to talk to you. All right. Or if they're talking through a concept and maybe they got this right, but not that right. And then you can say, well, yes. And give me more on this. So they're not focusing on the negative part, but you're focusing on the positive part. Okay. Give me more on this. Another thing is like safety space in the learning. You have that one student who loves to talk and then the back of the room is not, and so maybe you create that space and like, okay, so today I want to hear from the left side of the room, or I want to hear the back side of the room, or so then you're not calling out that poor student who's just a little stronger, but they're hearing all the other voices in the room. And so this was a great book. I'll give it to you, Sarah. You can drop it in the, okay. It's just really easy. It's like 2 pages concept and it's super easy, but that's how you can set up a psychologically safe learning space for everyone to learn. All right. 5. Any questions? Oh, anybody have any questions about that before I move to 5?
I have students, because I teach research methods. at the bachelor, at the undergraduate level, and they freak out about research methods, especially social workers. So what I have done is in previous classes, I passed out index cards and had them write to the next class and say, what do you need to know? What do you want? What advice would you give the student taking the next semester? Then I take pictures of them because it's in their writing. And so the student sees, it's not me saying this is what you need to do to be successful. It's another student who came before you to say, this is what you need to be successful. And it really helps to lower their anxiety and to know the struggle is okay.
You do a good job, Dean, when I see you teaching. When you're teaching in person, I always see you walking around. You're never sitting at the front of the class. You are always around. And I think that encourages students all across the classroom to engage and speak. Yeah.
Some of them get really anxious.
Yes. Proximity. A little nervous. A little proximity, so.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about my orientation meeting with one of my online classes because the previous student of mine volunteered to speak for 10 minutes. I mean, she did, so I'm going to see how it goes, but she came up with it, so we'll see how that goes.
Their voices, their voices. Did you have something? No? Anyone else? Okay, so you're 5.
Thanks, everybody. Like I said, it's a talk show in here. All right, last one. And then we want to show you Conmigo. We're really excited about it. We just learned about it this summer. So they have gone, I'll get to it in a second. But so looking at another tool, you don't have to use Question Pro. You can use Microsoft Forms. We have access to both. And you can make a pre-course survey. Has anybody done this? Yeah. Oh, did I skip a slide? Oh, sorry. I'm ahead of myself. Okay. Well, we covered that. So motivate. So engaging, sometimes students are in our classes because they have to be, that kind of thing. Some of them love it, and everybody in between. And so just getting them interested in your subject matter, sharing the why, connecting it to career. Doesn't always connect to career. I teach is it a core course, and doesn't always connect to career, but you can make it relevant. So I bring in New York Times articles. I'm sure you all do this, but just bringing in current events, highly engaging, whatever you can do. Find out what they know. Actually, that connects to that pre-course survey because you can see what they know, have them share their goals. I usually build that into the discussion board post. Like, what do you want to learn? Why are you here? And they usually say, I want to make an A. And then, this is my favorite, share your own passion for the subject. I actually made a video with Dan Kavanaugh, if you remember him, music professor, and he was very passionate. I think we're all passionate about our subjects, but he was a musician, and they usually, just are very passionate. And so I'll share that video. It's an oldie but goodie, where he talks about sharing his passion for music. And so he did jazz and piano and things like that. And so I think especially in the fine arts, you want to share your passion. And I do that through videos. I've mainly taught online, like some of you, but you can share a video and send it out ahead of time, and then they get a little trailer about you. And so I'm a fan of the video, even if you teach on campus. And then you can do that, share the roadmap like Sarah shared, the little, here's where we're going. I used to do that too. I made a literal, like a highway. And then the students would print it out and keep it right next to them. And they just would look at it and check things off and, that kind of thing. So, yep, roadmap. Here's where we're headed. And then something else you can do is just these hook activities, which we'll segue in. But what do you all do to motivate? I mean, some of our students just want to make an A, and some of them are want to learn beyond the grade. So
There's external motivation and internal motivation. Which one? No, I don't.
Oh yeah, and yes,
External and
different levels, different motivations.
So I think just like you mentioned, Peggy, what I do is every Sunday they get an announcement from me, planning for the next week, and I do a little recording. That's all. Yeah, every week, 16 weeks.
Anybody else motivate? I think just sharing. You want to share?
Oh, I'm complaining.
Oh, okay, that's allowed. That's allowed. Okay, so does anybody do the pre-course survey? You do? Okay. Any comments on it or thoughts? Does it help?
I've done it specifically in PhD classes where it's
Oh.
small and you're really trying to make sure you know what
Uh-huh.
everyone's research topic is, where they are in their
Mhm.
coursework. I've never done it in a undergrad or grad class. The purposes of what I'm thinking for wouldn't be as helpful for that, but it is really helpful in a PhD class.
And you don't have to do, it's not like a pre-test. Like sometimes I'll just gauge where you're at with this topic, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Like it can be ballpark baseline information. So like, where are we at kind of thing. Yeah. And then I asked them, how do you prefer to learn? Since I teach online, do you learn it with your phone or a laptop or a desktop? And that helps me think about their learning needs. So yeah, so you can do anything on that. And then, okay, the fun part. We want to introduce this to you because it's very user friendly. So it's in Canvas. It's free. And it's teacher focused. In K-12, they have a student focused one where it's Khan Academy. So yeah, so that's why it's called Khanmigo. You can just Google Khanmigo. Do you use that with people?
No, just
Oh, yeah, familiar. Okay, so give me a second while I pull it up. Beth, while I'm pulling it up, do you want to mention just off the top of your head what some of these are?
Okay, so it is in Canvas. You have to enable it. It is in there. We had training this summer that we recorded it, so it is available for you how to enable and that. But it is actually really easy if you're new to the AI space and it's a little like, okay, you go in there and when you log in the first time, it's super easy. And then they have all these tiles of what you can do. And because it's locked into Canvas in your course, it stays in that space. So it doesn't go out. It's all vetted, so it's safe. And so, like, for example, there is, if you're struggling with creating a hook or introduction to a concept that's a little more challenging, you go in and you click that tile that says hooks of assignments, and you go down and you type in whatever it is, if you're doing like the First Amendment or if you're doing introduction to bioengineering, and it gives you some ideas on how to introduce this topic. And then you can refine it a couple times as you keep adding a little bit more detailed descriptions, and it will create that. There's also like exit tickets, low stakes exit tickets. I need some exit tickets. How can I, and that requires, in-person, more specific the prompt, the more it can come up with, and it comes up with ideas.
So does it have access to your module materials to help already?
No,
Oh,
it's a tool.
it's just a tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gives you ideas, but you have to put in the prompt, like,
Yeah.
so it's going to pull information based off of what it knows about bioengineering or not in your class, but
That'd be cool though. If it already had access,
yes.
'cause it
Well,
could
I'm
be
sure it's
fun.
going to eventually get there, but there's other things. A lot of it's teaching. There's that like discussion prompts. Like, okay, I'm struggling to have a discussion prompt on or this, and it helps them with that or things like that. So there's one tile for almost every one little academic or teaching piece, and it's actually it's really user friendly.
Okay, so we're fans. And so what it is, so how you get to it is you go in your course. So you have to do this for each course or just use it for one. It's teacher facing. You go into settings and then you click navigation and you'll see this list of things. I don't know what they're called, apps. And it will be down here on the not visible apps. When you find it, it'll say Khanmigo something. Khanmigo teacher tools. So Sarah has already dragged this up. You have to click save.
Save. People forget.
Yeah,
to
click
drag it
save.
open and save it.
And then it'll be over here. Let's see, where was it? Okay. So now you can click on it. So first enable it by going into settings and then navigation. So do you have an account yet? Okay. Do you mind if I click it?
Yeah.
Okay. So sign up and then you just do this once.
Yeah.
So you just do this once and okay, here we go. Whoa.
Here's all the tiles. Discussion prompts.
Yeah, so let me pick a few that kind of we liked or were easy. It'll write a lesson plan for you. Now be sure there's K through 12 and there's college. Now it doesn't say grad or undergrad. It's not that nuanced. But you can do what you want. So like question generator. So just click that, pick college. You have to copy and paste whatever it is. So let's see. Question, Sarah, can you help me think of a book you might be reading in your literature class?
Persuasion by Jane Austen.
And compare it to Love Island.
That would actually be, yes, do that.
That would be relevant. Okay, input the text. I don't know if it would compare to popular media. We'll try that. Okay, so it's basically going to generate, and I don't know what tool it uses behind the scenes. It's AI, but it will. Oh, it has an answer key. Check for accuracy. And so I don't know what level these are, and I don't know if you can adjust it, like say critical thinking, that kind of thing.
Edit it to.
Oh, and so you can export it into different files. If you're on Google Drive, you can just upload those there and look at them later and edit on your own. So there's different ways that you can do this. Copy the link if you want to share them with somebody. So that's an easy one if you're a question type of person. Exit ticket. So I want an exit ticket on, at the end of my class, I want some closure and synthesis of the thinking. So what's the topic?
Just do Jane Austen. Okay. It's easy.
Okay. So whatever your concept is, just type it in and it will come up with something. Oh, estimated time. On a note card, what is one theme or idea from today's discussion? Explain how this theme connects to a character or scene.
And if you didn't like that, you click that little highlighted bar on the left, and then you can make more changes. You give you more details about this book.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice. No.
Make this question more rigorous. Whatever you want to do. Do it.
Yep.
Okay. Analyze how the theme is reflected through actions, motivations, or development of a specific character or scene using evidence from the text. That's one of my favorite phrases.
Yeah. So the little box on the side, you keep refining it, keep refining it.
Yeah.
Keep refining it.
So if you don't like it, you don't have to accept it at face value.
Oh, and it saves it. So this will get saved, and if you want to come back to it 2 months later, it's still there. Yeah.
So there's lots to do. Those are just some easy ones. Low-hanging fruit. Letter of recommendation. Make it relevant. Real world context. Question generator. Let's see. Yeah, the hook one. Like that would be good for first day of class. If you're behind on a subject, refresh my knowledge. SMART goal writer. Learning objectives. We have to include those in our syllabus. So. But anyway, you can just play with it. So activate it, get in there and just tinker around. So any thoughts on that?
Is there a tile on the rubrics?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, there is a rubric generator.
You'll have to go in though, obviously, and edit it a little bit, but it gets you started.
Yeah. So you can add different things.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And there's actually, you can get a certificate in using Conmigo. So we did a whole thing on this. So actually, we encourage you to go into Pedagogy Next blog. And where is it? Okay, here it is. We did in case you missed it, recap. It's like a cliff note. And so you don't have to watch the whole thing. We have it summarized. We used AI to help us. But there's a little training course on Conmigo. And so you can put that on your digital measures. And then there's a website. Just resources and things like that. So if you have questions, email Joseph Rutledge in CDE or email us. Yes.
Is there any spot that you can attach documents to it?
Oh, like upload something?
Yeah.
That's a good
You
question.
might, we just got in there, so yes, the more you play, the more you'll learn.
Yeah.
So, is there anybody online? I don't want to forget those friends online.
There was a question if it will let you use a QR code to complete the exit ticket. I'm not sure that it.
Go to exit ticket. There's a way you can upload it. You could share it.
I don't think so. Let's see.
College.
Let's see. Sorry. I thought you might have to do that on your own. I think it's pretty basic. I don't see that option.
Is there a way to put something in the file? And there's nothing in,
Share.
like there's nothing in the up here.
No.
Like a link?
It's really more about creating the content.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, you are gonna have to export it and put it into Canvas yourself. Yeah. So unlike Perusal, which was another thing we did this summer, which is in Canvas and very connected, and it grades it, and if it grades it in Perusal, it goes straight into your Canvas gradebook. Conmigo is very much about giving you the tool to help you create the content quickly, etc. But all of it, you're gonna have to export it or copy and paste it and put it into a page or an assignment. So you could have a QR code for your exit ticket, but Conmigo is gonna generate the content for you if you don't have time to think about it yourself.
It's quick and easy.
Yeah.
Anybody, what do you think about that tool or online?
I'm excited to try it. Yeah. It's low stakes. It's very easy.
I'm
And
just
the fact that
excited.
It's all safe. It's all locked in there. So it's
Yeah. So it's not like ChatGPT where lots of other people might have access to the content or something. It's
all
contained
And approved by the university.
and approved by the university. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't have our laptops in here, so, but you can explore it on your own. Do you want to add anything?
No.
We're good. Okay. Yeah, we did. It is a good tool. I'm going to use it too. And
It applies to academic and non-academic courses.
So like I have a lot of non-academic courses for my grad students, which it's a different, but I can put that in the same thing. So if you have a online handbook on a non-academic course, our compliance training is considered non-academic courses. And so that's what those are. And so
that is our last slide. So what do you think? Any general thoughts or online?
It's confident.
Oh, name one thing you want to try. Like outcome, yeah. Yeah, we were interested in
We are like the biggest cheerleading
Ideas.
section on this right now.
yeah, we're so busy that it helps.
I'm going to try this. We have to use simple syllabus, but I'm going to try the visual syllabus as an adjunct piece. I'm implementing IPE into my class this semester for the first time, and it seems really complicated. So I think that visual, I mean, it's complicated to me. I can't imagine how the students are going to feel, because it's a separate Canvas course. And so I'm going to try to use that roadmap for the IP to explain the IPE itself. Yeah.
And someone asked, Pete, he's not here, but Pete asked, where's the visual syllabus? It's actually on a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So, oops, okay, sorry.
So that image I made that in Canva. Anybody use Canva? Y'all don't use Canva?
We love Canva.
Allow me to suggest you use Canva.
Since ChatGPT.
Yes.
I started after the AI training last week. I just used Adobe Express to do my first PowerPoint, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So Adobe Express is the Adobe version of Canva, and it's approved by the university. The university has some problems with Canva, I mean, as it should, for accessibility reasons, because a lot of the PDFs or PowerPoint or whatever that you export from Canva don't have the same sort of headings and behind the scenes structure to it that a screen reader needs to read when your students are reading it. So if you are using Canva heavily and you're getting flagged in your course for a PDF or something like that, or an image because it's not accessible, which we all are going to have to start paying attention to that soon. Well, we should have always been, but then that might be the problem, is if you might need to go in and add that layering behind the scenes and add in the alt text and stuff like that. But that particular, well, let me make sure we are.
So there are, when you're doing that, so there are, the syllabus, like the 17 pages of text. And so when I work with my grad students, I mean, we have things we talk about, graphic syllabus, where you're just putting little icons. So if it's all text, you put a little
Icon at the start of a paragraph that, like a little, picture of that's the pages and that's an assignment, so I kind of icon it. There's also a liquid syllabus, which is a little bit more human pieces where you put in maybe pictures and relevant things. There's digital syllabuses that you can do online and that you link into each of the subsections.
The graphic syllabus, which has the roadmap, can also just be a linear graphic.
Yeah.
That kind of, they can see it all together instead of, I mean, that's really fancy and pretty, but some people just need to have a couple concept boxes that this goes to this and this goes to this and just kind of map it out that way. This might be a little much for some people. So it's, you know, something maybe as simple as just the start of each paragraph, you just put a little icon of the beaker, and then you have for labs, and then you have a little page that says there's text reading books and this and things like that, just to break it up instead of all text.
Yeah, so this particular image is actually what I share in a PowerPoint the first day of class. So like I said earlier, usually my classes meet online the first, it's asynchronous, we don't do it synchronously, but so they've gone through the syllabus, they've had to do a syllabus quiz that Canvas grades for me. They do their pre-survey, which lets me know who they are, what pronouns they want to use, how they want to pronounce their name, what tech they have, because I use a lot of tech, so I want to make sure that they have what we need. And so stuff like that. So they've done all of that before we meet the first day. And so this is part of that PowerPoint, because again, it's just I know that even if they took the syllabus quiz, they did not actually read the syllabus. So I've done this for a while. So, but this is a very simple, for this particular class, this is 1302. We have all 1302 classes have the same series of major assignments. You have to, if you don't do these things, you don't pass. Like you have to turn in each of these things. So having that the first day, when I get up and ask for questions from the syllabus and we go over things more together and in person, that's up behind me. And it's just a very, easy and simple way to get right to the chase and not have to go over what they've already should have already gone over, but it is useful. And yeah, that was easy in Canva. This was a template already there, and I just added my stuff to it. So yeah.
Anything else?
That's kind of all we had. That's it.
Well, since we have y'all in the room, and I think Laura's question is a good one about AI, and how we are planning on approaching that problem, question, thing to deal with, challenge, opportunity. I don't know what you want to call it. Because some of us were at the AI Institute. We had a week or so ago, or oh gosh, that was longer than that ago. It felt like, was it a week? Okay, it's been, listen, time has no meaning anymore. But so I'm just curious, where are you feeling about AI? Where are you at? And what are some of how are you planning to start the semester with that and work on it? Because in particular, Laura's question was about discussion boards in Canva, not Canva, Canvas. Do that a lot, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Laura, I hope it's okay. I'm sharing your question, but because I've been pondering it myself, because I'm building an asynchronous course this year, and I wanted to use discussion boards very heavily, but I know they're using them because I've read discussion board posts and I've read reflections, which in the past I was like, no, surely they won't use AI for reflections, but they do. Okay. So I'm just curious and anyone online, if you want to jump in and drop a thought as well.